Hello, everybody. If you're here, lovely to see you. If you are here, make yourself known. Leave a comment in the chat because I only know if you're here because the chats because can't see you. How are you doing? I had a good day today. I had a very productive day, so I'm feeling energized and on it, which is great. Okay, so we were I spent some time with a coach today, not as a personal coaching session, but with another coach, and we were sort of talking and going through a lot of stuff around energy and around the energetic world and how we create our own world. And what was so lovely with that was that the person I was working with was not tarot focused at all and not woo-woo focused at all. But he's a business coach and is just, teaches people about their business. Sorry, my throat's a bit crunchy, so excuse me if I keep clearing my throat. But what was amazing about this was that everything he was saying that he teaches, because he comes at it from quite a sort of an energetic perspective, he even used the term everything is energy. Speaking my language, and it was pretty great, really. And so what was lovely was the framework that he was describing and all of the the things that he looks at and he teaches were 100% described in the tarot kind of framework. Literally, I sat there and I I didn't do this every time because it would get really boring, but basically go, oh my God, that's that card and that's that card and that's when it says that and that's that card, and it was fabulous. Like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, tarot is literally a pictorial example of what of a system that somebody else is using, which is fairly mainstream, or used for fairly mainstream applications. So that was really, really great and really fascinating. And there was a lot came up, which I thought, wow, I love what this is talking about. Even part of the process was describing the process through the royals. And people have a lot of trouble with royals in tarot. And what the royals do is that gives you a 4-card framework where you're showing up, learning about something and curious, and then you're taking action on that thing. And it is the taking action which changes things, because if we just do things we just constantly stay in learning mode, that's okay, but it's when we do stuff that's what changes things. And then in the changing, you assimilate the energy within you, and then when you assimilate the energy within you, then you can have power in front of you and you can change the environment to be the way you want it to be. And we were talking about it. We were talking about the parallels and how fabulous and interesting this is, because this is exactly what tarot says, and this is what this guy teaches, and they're both the same. We're just both of us coming from completely different disciplines while saying exactly the same thing. I just love that. That was fantastic. So that was really, really interesting. And we just had this wonderful conversation as well about spirituality and how spirituality differs from religion, and how spirituality is our emotional our emotional connective center and our emotional creative center. And of course, that's what the Suit of Cups is, and that's the bit that does all the work that's the fuel for the whole thing. And that was also, that's exactly what I teach. It's like, wow, it's just so wonderful to see this information going out into the mainstream and being taught in various different forms, but it's all the same information, and it's teaching us how to create in our lives and how to take control of ourselves and our own creative process. And our creative process meaning not necessarily creative as in books and whatever it is, paintings or whatever, but creative in the bigger sense, creative in the sense of our lives, what we are able to create in our lives, what we're able to change and bring forth out of ourselves to make our life in front of us awesome, because that's really what we want, isn't it? We want our life in front of us to be awesome. And yeah, so that was just such a fascinating afternoon on many levels. It was a lot. My poor brain, I had a little bit of a headache afterwards. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. So that was very dense. So what are we going to do today? I don't have that many questions, actually. I had a lot of questions last week, but I don't actually have that many this week. Let me see. I have 3 here. So I can do the first one. If we've got anybody on the call, just say hi. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question for John. John wants to know about his relationship with what have I written there? Sandra. Okay. Hello. Hi, Karen A. Lovely to see you. So John just said, what do I need to know about my relationship with Sandra? That's interesting. That's quite open-ended, that question. Okay, so let's have a look. So what does John need to know about his relationship with Sandra? Oh, well, we've got strength here. So it doesn't look to me like it's a particularly comfortable situation, John, if strength is indeed what you need to know. So if it's telling you that you need to be strong, then there you are. You need to be strong to endure the turbulence in whatever way that's coming. What it also might be telling you is that you need to look at why. You need to look at your why here. So why do you need to be strong? Always look at the strength card as from a point of focus. We don't want to be strong for the sake of it. We need to be strong from a higher perspective. So we need to be strong for our higher mission. So whatever it is we want to create, which is, as I've been saying, a happy, abundant life, in what way does strength lead you there? That's, I think, what you perhaps could do with looking at in this relationship. Obviously, I don't have any more information to go on than that, but I hope that's interesting for you and useful. How are you, Karen A? What have you been up to? We're a little quiet tonight, aren't we? What would you like me to look at, Karen A? Would you like me to look at something in particular? Let me see. Do you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do a little experiment here. Oh my goodness. Nephews, hold on. I see. Nephews, nephew's girlfriend, and dog staying. That's lovely. Is that for all of Easter, I wonder? That sounds very cool. Lovely, lovely. Been invaded by the young things. All right, so I'm going to have a bit of an experiment here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I've got another couple of questions here, but rather than jump in, and I'll space them out a little bit as I've only got 3. No time for tarot? Goodness gracious. There's always time for tarot, Karen, just like there's always time for tea. They both start with T. No time for tarot. You should wow them with your tarot reading expertise, Karen. You should tempt them with a reading. Why are you laughing? That's a real thing. Your tarot expertise is a real thing. Do they know you read tarot? Let me see. Yes, so I'm going to try a bit of an experiment. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to... The boys are very skeptical about all that sort of stuff. No, they don't know that. Well, then you could disabuse them of that skepticism, couldn't you, Karen? You could demonstrate your prowess, and they would be, you know, blown away and converted to being interested and fascinated. I love reading for people that are skeptical. I absolutely love it. It's such great fun. It's just wonderful. I was invited to a tarot party once by... Hello, Amanda. Lovely to see you. I was invited to an evening once that a friend of mine was giving, and she said, come and read tarot for everybody. So I said, well, all right, I will. And there was a German guy there at this party. And gosh, I mean, he was about as diametrically opposed to me as he could be. For a start, he was very opinionated, bless him, which I guess doesn't make him different to me because I'm quite opinionated. But he introduced himself by going on a rant, an anti-vegetarian rant. Just saying. So that set things off on an interesting trajectory. He started off with an anti-vegetarian rant. I mean, like properly anti. And then when Gail brought up the subject of tarot, he basically said, well, this is rubbish, isn't it? I'm wondering why he came. It was a little bit of mystery to know what she said to him to get him there, because he seemed to be not in alignment with the general, scheme of things. Anyway, so I was a bit perturbed by this, and then Gail said, okay, well, Janice is going to read for everybody. I can't remember this guy's name. I think it began with M. Anyway, so Janice is going to go sit at the table, and then we'll all go and join her in turn, and she'll read. And then she said to the German guy, okay, you first. Well, thanks. No time to settle in then. Hello, Seema. How are you? Lovely to see you. So anyway, so I sat down at the table with him, and he said, "Well, obviously I don't subscribe to any of this stuff." And I said, "Well, that's okay, because the good news is Tara doesn't need you to. You can sit there, you can be as skeptical as you like. That's all right. We're all good." I know. Yes, he. Well, I mean, yeah, he just didn't like the whole thing. But anyway, so I put a spread down for him, and then started talking to him about his business and how his relationship with his wife was problematic, and how in some way that was underpinning the business, and how he was very resistant to his wife's opinion, or her, I can't remember, so years ago now, but very resistant and very sort of anti what his wife wanted to do in the business, because it was obvious she was a part of it from the reading. But his marriage was obviously, can't think why. Anyway, so I talked about all this, and the poor guy sat there, and he just sort of went, "What? Has Gail Lake told you about my life?" I went, "No, I've no idea who you are." Anyway, turned out his wife was actually right. I said to him, "If you don't start listening to her, you won't have a business in a year." Just saying. She's got some good points to make. So it was really interesting. And he was a good deal more, he was a bit cowed after that. He was a little bit quieter, a little bit less arrogant, I think, really. We treated him with compassion, because actually he was actually genuinely going through a really tough time. But what was really sweet was my friend was sat sort of just behind him, out of his eye line, and she just sat close enough so she could just hear what was going on. And as I read for him, she just went behind the scenes. She set him up good and proper, and she also set me up too. But anyway, yeah, so just like, that was so sweet. So that was fun. So we like reading for skeptics. We should always read for skeptics at every possible opportunity, because it's just such fun seeing their faces when they get a reading. Yeah, just, what can you do? It's very cool. Well, I mean, Karen A. I mean, the way I look at it is, so I'll put Karen A's message up. Not because I'm a master of my craft. I mean, just saying I am and all, but that's not why we should do it. The fact is, the way I look at it is that the energetic world will have something to say, and somebody who's really skeptical is going to be resistant in some way in their life, right? So they will be showing up with some kind of resistance to something that is going to be getting in their way. So the fact they found themselves in the vicinity of a reading, I usually work on the premise that there's probably something they need to hear, and that they are resistant to hearing. And that was the case with him. That was the case with the guy at the wedding that I read for. And each of those people needed to hear that message. And all we are as tarot readers, really, all we are is postmen, aren't we? That's what we are. We're postmen. I mean, we're postmen who read. We're we're sort of postmen in post-literary, so pre-literary Europe. Well, we not only deliver the letters, but we read them as well. So our job is to read the letter to the person that you're delivering the mail to. And I think that's the way I see it. So we're just postmen here. It's just our job to deliver and read the message without kind of colouring it as much as possible. So we allow whatever the message is that person needs to hear, we allow that to take the lead. And so, you know, he was obviously struggling, and hopefully the reading will have not only gone some way towards helping him not lose the business, but also towards some way towards maybe being a bridge between him and his wife as well. Perhaps, obviously, I don't know what happened about that, but maybe it'd be nice to think that that was the case. And, you know, and whether or not he likes vegetarians or not, or vegans or not, that's his business, isn't it? Hey, that's not for us to, it's not for us to judge. But yeah, so that was fun. So come on, Karen A, read for your nephews. Show off your yes. But you know what? It's not. Do you know what's so nice about opening people's eyes to the world of tarot? As this, probably everybody on here. I was just talking earlier about the fact that I spent some time earlier this afternoon, earlier today, really, with somebody who's a business coach who operates very energetically. Talks about mindset and how to create life, which is obviously what, you know, I'm really, really fascinated by, and is at the basis of all of my tarot work. It's all about being creative in life. It's all about you know, what we can use tarot for to help us create the life that we really want. Because that's, in my opinion, what I've been told, that's what tarot's for. Tarot's here so we can have an energetic language with the energetic world and the part of ourselves which is spiritual, which is our creative and emotional and connective part. Suit of Cups for all of you out there who are learning tarot. So, you know, that was just a really, really fascinating conversation I had with him, because the language he was using was not mine. He wasn't using tarot language, but what was so wonderful was that everything he said, I was almost going, oh my God, but there's that, and tarot says that, and that's in there, and that's in there, and it was just fabulous. It was almost like just hearing somebody else say everything tarot says, but just say it from non-tarot terms, and the framework was almost identical, and it was just fabulous. And I think that's what we're all here to do. So when we open somebody's eyes to tarot, we're opening them up to a new way of seeing, right? It's about a new way of seeing. So the idea is, when you look at something differently, the thing you're looking at changes. It looks different. When you look at something differently, the thing you're looking at looks different and therefore changes. And that's what happens when we read tarot. When we read tarot, we look at tarot differently, and we change because we're looking at ourselves through tarot. So we're looking at ourselves differently. So we change. It's quite a remarkable thing. So, you know, any conversation about energetic work that can help people take control or get a different view of themselves and what's inside them and what's possible for them, anything we can do to help people with that is fabulous. That's kind of the point of the whole thing. So has anybody got any questions? Does anybody want me to do a little one-card reading for them? Who have we got? Anne's Human. Hello, darling. Lovely to see you. And Saima. I think we know each other, don't we, Saima? I think you've come to me for a reading before. Your name looks familiar. So who would like to ask me a question? Anybody? Or are you all going to just be really coy? Don't feel pressurized. If you haven't got a question, I don't mind. but it's always fun if you can. Okay, so what am I going to do? I've got two other questions that have been sent in to me, so I could do one of those in the meantime, if you like. Okay, I can do that. So I have, who shall I do? Brian. Brian wants to know, it's a complicated question because it's about his business, and I'm gonna try and simplify it down because it's a bit of a typed, it's not just one question. So let's ask for Brian. What should Brian put his attention on to make his business successful? Let's boil it down to that. What should Brian put his attention on to make his business successful? Okay, let's see if we can do this. One card. Come on, guys. Oh, well, there you are. The Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is it's an energy that is a burst of passion which then somewhat burns out. So Brian needs to keep up the passion, but make sure he's not going off searching for shiny things. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. See, this is part of what was in the question, Brian. It was quite a lot of different attention things. So what this is saying is that if you want your business to be successful, you've got to be able to keep the speed consistent, and you've got to be able to focus on what's most important and what's going to serve you, and keep your wheel stable. Because the trouble is with this is a very unpredictable, unstable energy. So it's very passion led. So it just gets like, oh, I'll do that. That is amazing. Let's go do that. And then it's like, oh no, let's do that instead. So it's a bit all over the place. So Brian, you do need to look at how your energy can become more sustainable, and keeping your passion front and center, because what's happening is you're going full pelt at something, and then you're sort of running out of love for it, or you're just not doing what you're not doing. Brian, my friend, is the hard yards. That's not what you're doing. You're not doing the hard yards. And for me, that's what that card is saying. So you've got to be able to dig in and do the boring bits while maintaining your passion for the end result. So I hope that's okay for Brian. What else have we got? So what have you been doing, tarot wise, Amanda? Have you been busy? I know you've been busy ordering decks, which is really lovely. Thank you. Have you been reading? Okay. So what else have we got? I know what we could do. Let's play a game of getting tarot to set the question. So this is quite an interesting little game to play, and we've we've done this in our practice group once or twice. So what we do is we say to tarot, if we were going to ask a question, what should the question be? So if you're doing readings, if you're learning tarot or you're interested in tarot, this is quite a good challenge. Cool, that's great. Well, you could try this. So try this, Amanda, because this is quite an interesting little challenge. So if I was going to ask a question, what would the question be? And then what you do is you take a card and you allow the card to ask the question. So this is not the answer, this is the question. Okay. So because there is always a question in every single card, because as Karen and I have discussed many times, tarot is almost like a Socratean questioning machine. It answers every question with a question. So which is fabulous, really. And it will tell you if your question is wrong as well a lot of the time. But let's ask tarot. So a lot of the time, we go, oh, I don't know, what should I ask? Well, what you can do is you could just literally say to tarot, what should I ask? So let's do that now. Okay, tarot, what should we ask? Okay, so we've got the Page of Pentacles here. So the Page of Pentacles, as we know, being a page, it is future curious. And because it's the Page of Pentacles, it's the most advanced of all the pages. So it would be the oldest energy. And it would be telling this person to study. So it's saying, so what is the question? The question is, what do you want to learn? What do you want to study? That would be the question that would suggest to me. What do you want to study? Okay. Because this is all about studying in order to create life experiences which are going to enrich you later on. What do you want to study? So let's answer the question. Okay. So what should this person study? Oh, I say patience. Should learn patience, learn about giving up a point of view. You should learn about the experience of letting go and letting things be exactly as they are. Learning to sacrifice your likes and dislikes and your viewpoint so that you can create something different later on. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? What should we think? I don't think any of us really want to study that, do we? Learn patience. Oh, that's lovely. I did the tarot endorsement many moons when I was but a young thing. I did the tarot endorsement many moons ago. Before the moon was even a moon, probably, Amanda. I did the Tabby endorsement. This is what I'll put this on soon. Tabby endorsement. So for everybody or anyone here who doesn't know what Tabby is the Tarot Association of the British Isles. Now I think they've elongated the title to include international as well. But to us old school people, it will always be the Tarot Association of the British Isles, Tabby. And so Tabby is where I did my endorsement. Oh God, 20 years ago. It's amazing. Incredible, really bizarre. I've still got my certificate. It's lovely. Janine is doing a great job as being chairwoman, so that's really nice. Okay, all right. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, so what's our next question, Otaro? What should we ask? That is our next question. I see. So this would say, what do I need? What question can we ask for this? This is all about a comfort zone. So because it's a 10, okay, it's reached its maximum potential. So the thing is, a comfort zone, which this kind of is, because it's happy and connected, and I feel nice here, and I feel, you know, yeah. So what is my power or my strength? Well, we can look at that, Amanda, in a second. I shall draw a card for you. What is your power or your strength? Let's have a look. So this is all about what do I need to know about my comfort zone? Because this is, I mean, this is lovely. We like it here. It's very nice, but because it's a 10, inherent in that is the fact that it's going to need to be renewed in some point. So what would your next step be? If that is a 10, that's a 10 of cups, what do you need to do about that comfort zone? Because that can't stay like that for too much longer. Because one of the things that tarot tells us is that either we are growing and expanding, or we are contracting and ultimately dying. So if we're in this, and this is a relationship, we're going to have to add to it. We're going to have to renew it. We're going to have to go back to a new ace, aren't we? Because this won't sustain itself for long, not without work. Yeah, just because it's a 10 doesn't mean that we're done, because we're never done. The work continues always. So what do we need to know about this being a comfort zone and what we need to do next? So let's ask that question. Well, there you go. Renew the emotional connection and look at, I think that's almost saying, look at whether or not there is a future in this. Because we're in a 2, aren't we? So because we're in a 2, we're in a position of choice now. And we're looking at our emotional trade. We're looking at our emotional bond, and we're looking at where we are in harmony, where we're different, what the balance is. So this is telling us that we have to go back to the drawing board. It's not an ace, is it? It's in action. We have to make the decision if we're still going to stay in this or not. So that's quite a serious that's quite a serious position to be in. So if this indeed was a relationship, it's telling you need to explore whether you're going to recommit into this relationship or not, because the 2 is a decision, and the root of the word decision is I can't remember what it is in Latin, isn't it? And it's basically to cut off, which is of course what the 2 of Wands is. It's this way or this way. It can't be both. So because this is a 2, it's telling you you're going to need to decide whether or not this is something that you're going to recommit to. Interesting. All right, Amanda, let's have a look. What is your power or your strength? Let's have a look. So this is for Amanda. What is Amanda's power or strength, whatever is appropriate? I mean, before we do that, the fact you have the Emperor is basically that's sort of telling you what you need to know, really, isn't it? I will take a card, but let's look at the Emperor. Seeing as you've drawn it already and it's in play, we shouldn't disregard it. We should never disregard a card. No card left behind, guys. No card left behind. So the Emperor is telling you that you need to regulate your emotions and basically take control. So that would be power. You need to take power by not being emotional, because the Emperor is the sum of all the tarot kings. So you have to take charge. He's the CEO, right? He's the boss. Now, it's important. This thing with the Emperor is really important. The Emperor is not a man. And anybody that says it's a man, please don't. It's not man, it's man-made. So it's the boundaries that we create ourselves, right? It's really important. The boundaries we create ourselves, the discipline that we decide we need. And that's only informed by just enough emotion to make that possible. So we don't want to dry up the river completely, but what we want to do is hold back a flood. So in some way, emotion and whatever is fueling you emotionally in this probably needs to be dammed up a little bit so you can take control of the situation. And that will give you the power you need to be able to do what you've got to do. So the Emperor, not a person, man-made. It's really important that we understand these things because the Emperor is often misunderstood and seen as a negative, but it's absolutely not a negative. It is a regulator. The Emperor regulates things. It takes control of things, and it forms boundaries so that we can operate effectively. So let's take another card for you. Okay. Oh, well, that would make sense of the Emperor card then, wouldn't it? Yeah, because this is the Nine of Swords. So this is fear. This is anxiety. This is, the Nine of Cups is our personal experience. 9 is a personal experience, right? 10 is where it's connecting out to other people. 9 is personal. So this is your personal nightmare. We're as happy to see it. But of course, you know that what this means is that it's just a nightmare, right? It's not true. It's just that fear that's in the back of your head. It's the terror wall, isn't it? That does not want us to cross. So this is saying the Emperor, this is emotional. So the Emperor needs to control that in order for you to do what you want to do. That's it. You're just going to have to feel the fear and do it anyway. So you're going to have to control this and not let this rule the roost, because this is not true. Whatever this is, not true. It's just fear. And that's why you need the Emperor, because you're going to have to literally get through that like a kind of digger on a building site, right? I don't know if that makes any sense. That was a bit of a funny analogy, but hey. Maybe it's not a funny analogy. Maybe it's because we're building things. And so actually what we need is we need the tools in order to lay the ground so we can build what we want to build. I just backed myself up there on the spur of the moment. I hope you're impressed with that. Okay. Good. Does that make sense to you, Amanda? Did that resonate with what you think the Emperor is about? Okay. While you answer that. Oh, right, Karen. Hello, Karen. Lovely to see you. You have somebody passing off their work as their. How do I get the recognition I deserve? Okay. Let's ask. Okay. Well, you got the 5 of Wands, Karen. So, So Karen, there you go. So there's the Five of Wands. So basically go into battle. I mean, I'm quite interested in this though, because obviously you can challenge them. I mean, that would suggest that perhaps you do challenge them and call them out. I mean, that's literally crossing swords, isn't it? So I would say make a direct. I would challenge somebody on that, because whoever they are, the reason they're doing it is because they are not confident in their own ability to create. I mean, that's just bottom line, isn't it? That's why if somebody nicks somebody else's work, it's because they don't think they can do as well. They don't have the confidence to think they can do their own work. Now, look, the fact is, it won't work for them, Karen. I mean, bottom line, it will never work for them because energetically it's not theirs. And so energetically, if they won't be able to back it up, they won't be able to make it work. I don't believe that to be true, because if something is yours and yours energetically and is authentic to you, then it's going to resonate with you, and anybody who interacts with you and that work will feel that resonance and that authenticity, whereas they won't with the other person. So it is saying go into battle, I think, challenge them, and probably what will be their response? King of Cups. You know what? They may apologize. How interesting. They may apologize. I would take this head on. Don't be angry. Don't be the Knight of Swords. Don't go in and go crazy. But I would, though, I would challenge them, because that is apparently what they're going to reply with, and that's the King of Cups. So that's not a challenge back. So I wouldn't be embarrassed about calling them out and questioning and saying, I'm really sorry, this looks very close to the work that I've put out, and I suggest we have a conversation about that in whatever way you feel that's necessary. I mean, your question, I'm not sure it answered your question. I think it told you what to do. So your question was, how do you get the recognition you deserve? I mean, I would say just carry on being you and being confident, probably. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if they're senior to you. I would still say something. Yeah, they're taking credit for something that isn't theirs, which means, I would call it. How can you get the recognition you deserve? Let's see if it'll answer that question directly. By not being afraid. So, if we look at, that's very proactive, isn't it? That's literally just being properly, going in and fighting for it. And that is, you get the recognition you deserve by not being scared, or by moving through whatever fear this engenders. So I think what's happening is somebody passing your work off as theirs is setting up the fear in you that you're going to be overlooked. I don't think you will be overlooked. I don't think you will. If it's the moon, it's telling you, don't be scared. Don't be. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, you'll have to call it in the best way you can, but hopefully, I don't think I don't think you won't get the recognition you deserve. I think that's what the cards are saying, Karen. I don't think your question's correct, because I don't think it's a thing. That's what worries you, Karen? Can you just clarify? Can you just clarify that? Because what is it about that worries you? What is it that worries you? Let's see. Is it that they're senior to you? Is that what worries you? So going in and challenging somebody and making the point, as I said, it doesn't have to be the Knight of Swords, does it? You don't have to go into battle sword held high. But it does say stick up for yourself, though. So that Five of Wands definitely is stick up for yourself. Yeah, stick up for yourself. So well, basically what it's saying is don't be scared. Don't let fear don't let fear cloud your vision. It's a bit sort of like Amanda, really, but Amanda had the Nine of Swords and you've got the Moon. So yeah, the Moon is when we can't see clearly, isn't it? And we're really caught in the fog, in the half light, and it's when all our fears come out to play. So they do the same sort of thing, really, the fear and the Moon and the Nine of Swords. Be confident. I think you've got to go in and fight for what you want. But as I say, not an aggressive way, just standing up for yourself way. I think you'll be okay. I genuinely do. Okay. All right. Has anybody else got a question they want to ask me while we're here? Okay. All right. Okay, so I've got a question here on my pad. I've got a question from Sue. And Sue wants to know if she and Azir. Yeah, no, absolutely, it's positive. I think you're going to be fine, Karen. I really do. So Sue wants to know if her and Azir will get back together. So let's ask that. Sue and Azir. What does she need to know about them getting back together? Oh, gosh, we've got a lot of these coming up tonight, haven't we? This is tonight's card. This is Fear Central. So Sue, what do you need to know? It's just don't be scared. Don't be scared. So I would say probably yes. I would say probably you can get back together, because this is just fear, and this is you looking at your worst case scenario. So whatever it is, I think probably the separation may well be short-lived. Maybe you've just had a row and now you're scared. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. I think it'll be fine. The Nine of Swords is not real. The Nine of Swords is just it's just when we go into our scared place, and it's not fun, for sure. Okay. All right. So let's see. So if we had another question, what should we ask? Let's ask the tarot. Oh, lovely to see you, Amanda. Thank you for showing up. Lovely to see you. Okay. So if we had another question, let me see. What question should we ask? Temperance. So in what way can we find balance? In what way can we find the right balance, the right mix? Because that's really important in life, isn't it? The right mix. Let's ask. Ah, interesting. Page of Wands. So the right mix is, we have to be excited by life, at least, don't we? So in finding the right balance, we have to factor in the fact that we need to be excited about the future in some capacity. Because if we're not excited about the future, and if we're not looking forward with curiosity and with a bit of passion as to what we can make happen, then the mix is therefore wrong, and life is not going to pan out in a way that's going to be you know, interesting and pleasurable to us. So this is really important. I love the Page of Wands, one of my favorite cards, like a little mini magician. So he's really wanting to explore what's possible and, you know, what he can make happen in life. So looking at how curious and interested and excited and passionate we are about our lives moving forward is going to give us the right mix. That's got to be in the mix, or the mix is wrong. It's pretty cool. Okay, all right, so we're at an hour, so if anybody has one more question then I can answer, I'd be very happy to, or I shall go and have a lie down in a darkened room. I had a reading for a young lady that I've read for many times over the years, and we read for her today, and it was amazing how absolutely rock solid tight her whole reading was with the monthly energy reading. Again, another one. It's amazing how much this is coming up all the time this month. If anybody's on here who hasn't seen the energy reading for April, do have a look at it, because goodness gracious, it's just absolutely resonating and ricocheting through everybody's lives at the moment in fine fashion. Goodness gracious, it's strong. Amazing. I mean, we did the reading, and then I said, so do go and look at this video, because it's so you, darling. And it really was incredible. Yeah, I think we're all hoping that this, yes, I know, Karen A, we're all hoping for a new energy, aren't we, in May? No more towers. We've had, what is it, we've had 2 months worth of towers, haven't we? But then we've had this planetary alignment thing that's been going on, haven't we, where we've had these 7 planets all lined up in a row. Now I'm not a big astrology person. I wouldn't be able to give a very authoritative astrological talk in any way, but certainly I think we've all seen an incredibly strong, energetic, flipping situation, and it started at the beginning of March, I think, and kind of just went all the way through, and is in April as well. So hopefully that's all gonna reposition in May, but I guess we'll have to see, won't we? Perhaps it's done its job, Karen A. What do you think? Hope so. Anyway, all right. Trump. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's just all part of it, Karen, to be honest with you. I think Trump is part of this energy. I mean, look at that. He's only been in a couple of months, and all of a sudden, everything's rocked. Financial markets, the flipping world economies, everybody's going, ah! Oh, what the hell? It's amazing. So, you know, on the sort of micro level of our lives, on the macro level of geopolitics and everything, you can see this energy ricocheting through everything. Absolutely amazing, destabilizing, just really the you know, earthquakes as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't, yes, I mean, he hasn't done this energy. He's in this energy. He hasn't made it happen, but he's certainly lent into it. That's for sure. I think it's kind of added a bit of a, you know, I think it's added a bit of a, was it a wind to his trajectory? I think it's given him a bit of projection power for sure. But you know, we must always look at how perhaps it may work out in our favor, because don't forget, what did the readings say? The reading said lean into the tower. So it didn't say reject it. It said lean into the tower. And the message from spirit at the end of it was justice, which is again, it's a rebalancing, isn't it? It's about, you know, it's karmic. It's everything will come to the right balance. The right and fair thing will ultimately happen, so things will balance out in a sort of with the judgments people make, and all of that side of things. And I think it's quite interesting. You know, none of us want this disruptive energy, do we? None of us want to live in a world with disruption going on. But certainly, maybe what's happened with Trump will, in fact, ultimately be a force for good, in as much as our response to it will therefore be as powerful, hopefully, in reshaping things as his attempt to shape things in the way he wants to. How the world responds, and you know, I mean, Europe has already regrouped. China has decided to order its soybeans from Russia, not from America. Ouch, that's going to be really horrible for American farmers. But it's going to cause everybody to make very, very different decisions. People in all of the leaders in Europe are making other plans as to not to deal with America anymore. And ultimately, perhaps America did have too much power. You know, they were the linchpin around which everything worked. That's not right, is it? You know? So I don't know. I choose to hope that good stuff will come out of it, ultimately, even if we can't see it now. Lean into the tower, remember? Lean into the tower, be the emperor. And what would challenge that is the lovers. So it's the, you know, the emotional choices we want to make and the commitments we make. That's going to challenge our ability to be really kind of, you know, resolute and determined. So it's very interesting to watch how this energy plays out. But yes, anyway, I think we've done it now. Let's just all play nice in the sandbox and not be arses to each other if we can possibly help it. All right. So I'm just wittering now, aren't I? So what I'll do, let me take a guidance card for us all over the week ahead, and then we'll probably say good night. Let's have a look. Guidance card for us all over the week ahead. Oh, there we go. So this is the Eight of Swords. So if this is our guidance card, it's telling us all to stop overthinking everything. Okay, so as it's an 8, we just have to do stuff, right? We just have to get on and do it. Do what have to be done. Don't overthink it, because the trouble is with the Eight of Swords, it puts us in a mind prison. And it means that we feel that we're sort of almost like locked up. This is like paralysis by analysis. So we need to avoid that. We need to avoid overthinking, and we need to avoid being caught in yes but situations where we go, yes but, well, I would do it, yes but. We can't do that. We just have to make decisions and take another step. Because what tarot tells us in this card is take one step. Every time you take one step, you leave the cage. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Every time we just take one step. Don't think it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Just take a step. Don't overthink it. Find your way. You'll be all right. All right. So I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. And yes, it was nice to see you all. I hope you enjoyed tonight's live. Thank you, Karen A. I will see you soon. I think, Karen, I have to reply to a message for you about court cards in some way. We can talk off the call if you like. I'll message you back, and you can tell me what you need, and let's look at what that is. If that's okay. Unless you want to ask me here, in which case I will answer. But I'm going to go. So lovely to see you all. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you soon. I'll come back next Tuesday. I did say I was going to do 6. I think I might have already done 6, but that's okay. We'll come back next Tuesday and we'll see what it's like. All right, guys. Good night. See you soon. Bye-bye.